how the Lakers, his teammates, came and had his back, even the embrace, right? It's a little extra linger in terms of with LeBron as he's getting announced in Dallas. I actually think, and I said this yesterday, getting ejected in OKC was a little, in an odd way, it was a little bit of preparation. Now, there was no reason for him to yell at anybody because he was the most beloved person in the room in this game, but I do think it reminded Luka of his accountability and his role.
Yeah, listen, I knew from the jump it was going to be a special night. You could just tell by the way he came out that he was going to have one of those nights. It wasn't a special night for GM Nico Harrison. Bobby, you've been in that position. Give me your thoughts, though, as you heard that crowd, the vitriol that as much as they chanted Luka, Luka, the Fire Nico chants were just as loud and pronounced last night.
Yeah, I was uncomfortable, and I was sitting in my office in Southwest Florida, and I turned to my wife, and I asked her, like, what would you do if they were chanting Fire Bobby? And she said, I wouldn't have allowed you to make the Luka trade. So that's my reaction to that there. Well, certainly, listen, I give him a ton of credit for being in that, I guess, that little hallway there and being out and in the public. But he's going to live with this, man. This is going to be, it's either going to go one way or another here. They're going to win a championship and maybe he's the hero, or there's going to be significant collateral damage. And I think I'm leaning a little bit more towards the collateral damage part.
Geez, Bobby. Well, let me ask you this, because GMs aren't always traveling. Like, they travel as they see fit, but they're not always traveling. Do you think part of this is Nico standing up and just taking it all on the chin? Because he doesn't have to be, like, he doesn't have to be there. He doesn't have to be visible. He could stay in the tunnel or, like, in the back.
No, I saw him when I was up in New York a few weeks ago when they played the Nets and the Knicks here, and he was with the team and he sat in the crowd, Monica. Like, he was out there, no security, no nothing. He's fully aware of it, and a lot of people are not fully aware of it, of basically how much disdain the fans in Dallas have for him. But he knows it, and he's going to wear it on his sleeve here.
You know, the one interesting thing is I got the opportunity to see Nico Harrison at the Final Four. Now, listen, in Dallas, he can't go anywhere. Yeah. He's got security with him when he goes out in Dallas because he can't go out anymore because of this trade. But he did say that he has a plan. It will come to fruition. More to come in the offseason. And Maverick fans like myself are like, okay, well, let's go. Yeah, because right now, the plan not looking good your way.
Write that plan down, make it plain.
Exactly.
You got to see what you're doing, bro.
Right, exactly, because I need to see more benefits from a Mavericks perspective. All right, guys, we're going to talk a whole lot more about this a little bit later in the show. But this morning's wake-up call, a buzzer-beating drama. An old friend takes down the Warriors.
Penny. Harrison Barnes launching the three. Got it! The Spurs win the walk-off. The former Warrior buries a three, and San Antonio wins the game.
How about that old Harrison Barnes? And after Wednesday's results, 5 teams now within a game and a half of each other in the Western Conference. 3 of those teams will make the playoffs. 2 are going to be part of the play-in tournament. Now, the Warriors, you see with that loss, currently the 7th seed. And with 2 games remaining, they've got Portland and at home against the Clippers, who, by the way, folks, quietly have won 6 straight, talking about the Clippers. Sitting at 5th spot. Kawhi's healthy. And Zubac had a triple-double last night. All right, coming up, the Nuggets. First game post-Malone. You got to hear what Nikola Jokic had to say about the firing of the only NBA coach he's ever known. Plus, the Men of Steel. Shedeur heads to Pittsburgh. Is he the Steelers' solution at quarterback? We're talking about that next. And get up here on ESPN.
Sound it.
At guard, in his 7th season from Slovenia, number 77, Luka Doncic.
I think what got him was the last part of that video with Dirk Nowitzki looking on. The last part of the video was thank you, Luka, in Slovenian. And then he went out there and he got buckets in any language. They had a message, the fans did, for the GM. Nico Harrison, the Nico in question, who was there to hear it in person. Daniel Gafford, the current Mavs, said, you know, they were doing that while we were shooting free throws as well. Doncic, meanwhile, a 3 over Anthony Davis. 14 in the first for Luka, 17 in the second. I got that as 31 in the first half.
Thank you for that math.
6 of 8 from distance. It was his first 30-point half as a member of the Lakers. He had 13 of them with the Mavs. J.J. Redick said it was an awesome moment for everyone. Well, everyone, for the Lakers. And then in the fourth, they brought Luka back in with about 9 minutes to go. Dallas had cut it to about 10, and Luka gets that. I mean, come on. You could say he knows the gym, he knows the floor, he knows the rim, whatever it is. He's a ball knower. He knows ball. Unreal finish. He's got 40.
He is a knower of ball.
You can get LeBron to go surrender Cobra. I mean, forget it. 45 for Luka. He's the second player in NBA history to have 45 for and against the same team in the same season. Lakers win. Luka, glass case of emotion.
So many emotions. Can't even explain it. You know, brought tears to my eyes. Like I said, I came as a young kid here with 18, and not knowing what to expect from NBA. And, you know, they made me feel like home, and it's just a lot of great memories. All the teammates I had, you know, everybody had my back. So, I mean, I'm the happy, you know. This guy, I love these fans. I love this city, but it's time to move on.
Luka, before he moved on, he owned his former team. Maybe it was part of the moving on. 45 points in his first game in Dallas. As a visitor, it's the third most points in a player's first road game against a former team in NBA history. Only John Williamson against the Pacers and Donovan Mitchell against the Jazz have more.
Randy, we are in Sacktown for the Denver Nuggets in their first game post-Malone era, and that is their White Iverson. He's a little bit taller, okay, than the first one. Throwing it down to A.A. Ron. It's a 4-game losing streak for Denver, their longest so far this season, trying to snap that so they can maintain that 4th seed out west. 66-58 at the break, third quarter. Jokic coaching up the fellas with a 12-point lead. Nikola Koch-ich.
Nailed it.
I'm still working on it. No. Christian Brown, 3 of his 25 consecutive 25-point games for the first time in his career. And then off the transition, Peyton Watson on the receiving end of that Jokic dish. Gets the hoop, gets the harm for Jokic, his 21st triple-double through 3 quarters this season. Think about that number. Most by any player in the last 50 years, and there was an entire quarter left to be played, 3 minutes to go. The lead is 5, but Jokic, too big, too strong, too savvy. Here's Jokic after the win on what went down earlier in the week.
I mean, I'm not going to say what Josh told me. So, I mean, I knew a little bit before everybody, and he told me, like, we made a decision. So it was not discussion. It was decision, and, you know, he told me why, and so I listened and I accepted. You know, I'm not going to tell what he told me. I'm going to keep that private.
A decision, not a discussion. I think that is some important nuance. 33rd triple-double of the season. New coach, same joker. That is the 5th most in league history. Trails Russell Westbrook, who did it 3 times more than that, and the Big O. Denver has 2 games left this regular season to continue that climb.